Hi, everyone. Welcome to my live stream for the Ask Me Anything about writing a technical book about Microsoft Azure. And today I'm actually live. It's 10 a.m. in the morning. And this is my contribution for the Festive Tech Calendar 2023. And before I start, I would like to thank you, Festive Tech Calendar, the Cloud family, for organizing this yearly event for the community. And because of that, I actually started my video with a very festive music that is a bit of like a lo-fi music. But today I did actually share about this event, and today there are other sessions as well for the Festive Tech Calendar. And aside from my sessions, there are content that you can check out on festivetechcalendar.com. And this community event is actually supporting uh, the Raspberry Pi organization that helps those young ones or youth that are getting started in learning technologies and work with IoT and learn that way as well. And the focus of today is for me to share about my book and to answer some questions that I actually received beforehand through Microsoft Forms. And let me just go ahead. It looks like my com froze. Let me just stop and share. Okay. I think it looks better. Okay. All right. Let me see. I actually have some questions already, but before that, I want to share with you, uh, of course, the Festive Tech Calendar. So, Festive Tech Calendar is actually led by the Cloud family, by the communities for their communities. And if you check out the website, it is driven by friends in the community, such as our supporters. You see, it's Gregor, Richard, Keith, Simon Lee, Alyssa. All of them I have met actually, except Keith, but they are awesome uh, tech leaders in the community. And today, actually, let's see, today, which is the 14th of December, a Thursday, there are a lot of sessions going on. So out of six, mine is the first one, one of the one of them, and you will also find other sessions like Microsoft Intro ID. So there's a lot, and mine is supposed to be 12, but I changed my schedule, so it's good for 60 minutes. And before I answer some questions, I want to share with you about my book, Learning Microsoft Azure. So this is my book on the online platform. I did build a website from Azure that's like learningmicrosoftazure.com, and in here I built this with Azure as well. So let me just change tab. I did not change tab. Okay, so this is my book that I'm very happy to share that got recently got published. It's like published specifically in November 20. In November, the printing is still like spreading out across the world, but this is a project that I've been working on for the past 2 years on my spare time. Spare time means that means outside work, my working hours when I do my consulting job, and it's also like in the evenings and weekends. And I think I have consumed more or less 300 hours devoting and writing this book, which is originally I planned for only 400 pages. But then it got so interesting learning and writing this topic, since I'm passionate about sharing about it to the community as well. So this has become almost 500 pages. And And just to give everyone an overview of this book, it is a book that is the result of my cloud migration journey as a developer slash architect in a migration project that I was involved in years ago. And it the story started when I had a journey. I learned a lot from it, both the good and the bads. And I did see the gap that IT organizations really need to have this cloud readiness before they move to the cloud. It's not just like moving the applications on prem to the cloud because it's so trending. It's also about getting ready and being prepared, not just the IT leaders, but also everyone in the team, including developers and everyone that are involved. And so I reached out to Rayleigh. I reached out to Rayleigh. Hey, I have an idea to write a book. I'd never written a book before, but I reached out to them and their contact us. And then they actually responded after a few months. I had talked to one of their awesome people in the States. So I got contact. I did my book proposal, which is about 15 pages. And after a month or so, it became a real project. And this was backtrack 1 or 2 years ago. Supposedly a 1 year project, but since I'm a busy woman, then it almost turned into 2 years. But it's better to be longer than never have done it before. So I'm very glad about it. So the book itself focuses, it's called Learning Microsoft Azure Cloud Computing and Development Fundamentals, we assume. And this book is actually meant for IT pros, IT professionals, IT leaders that are wants to know about cloud computing and Azure. And this is also good for those that are learning or getting started with cloud development for Azure as a platform. And this is also ideal for those that are already been working with Azure but still need a bit more details of what service to use for what. And I'm very happy that aside from my effort for hours of work in this book, it is also a book that is the result of the work or contribution from the community friends and tech friends. So some people provided the forward, for example, the forward of Magnus. He did really. You don't. I don't need to read it because I have limited time. But when you have time, check it out. It's actual. There's a preview of this first few chapters in on Amazon. Magnus Mortensen, he is known in the community as also the first MVP, Microsoft Azure MVP in Sweden, and he wrote two pages of what Azure is about, and then wrote a forward about it. And then I also have chosen Thomas Maurer. He is very active in the community, sharing knowledge. He works for Microsoft. And when I was still starting my journey in Azure, I always read content about Azure from his blog, and it did help me like keep the interest in learning more about Azure and certifications. And he's one of the inspiration. And then part of the book as well, I'm just going through the sections. So the book is divided actually in five five sections. And the first section or part is actually focused on cloud computing and Azure fundamentals, as you can see here. And then the first chapter is cloud fundamentals. The the second one is Microsoft Azure. And then the second part is about compute and networking, storage, and databases in Azure. So here, on third chapter, I was actually writing about the different compute services in Azure. And then that includes containers, serverless, PaaS services used for compute, and then Azure Cloud Networking. I did actually wrote about that, something about Azure Space, and added some recommended learning resources that I thought was useful. And some of them are actually talks from my user group, Azure User Group Sweden, or talks or courses from my friends in the community. And then chapter 5 is about Microsoft Azure cloud storage, AI and IoT. I did write about that, big data and reporting, IoT and map services. There's a complete chapter about that. 9 is focused on Azure security and management, DevSecOps. And so each chapter has expert code. So while you're writing the book, I mean, it's an idea that I actually injected in my book to have an expert code because I really like starting reading a chapter with a code. So I asked all my expert friends in the specific technology to provide one. So, for example, Sasha is known to speak a lot about cybersecurity, so he provided a code about it, and each chapter has one. So integration, I also had one that wrote about it. And then chapter 11 is about cloud infrastructure, DevOps, and monitoring, which actually is a special chapter because I wrote the entire chapter, but I did got some input from two friends in the community. First, Andrew Orwin, also Microsoft MVP, provided a code about it. And then uh, also, Freak Person, the author of Getting Started with Bicep Infrastructure as Code on Azure. Also, my Microsoft MVP from the Netherlands also contributed in like input in this chapter specifically on the infrastructure as code. So both of them are working on this arena as well. So I got some contributions from them. Thank you so much. And in this chapter, I wrote about cloud native and a lot of things. 13 is cloud migration. 14 is cloud development tools, which is ideal for developers. So I did highlight some CLI tools, the ACD, Microsoft DevBox, Azure DevOps, GitHub. So that is my book is about. And then next is I will be answering questions. Let me just switch tabs. So I need to check if there are questions live also. Let me see. Share tab instead. Okay, let me go back to my stream. Okay, got questions. But okay, let me see. All right, let me see. We got a good morning here. So, good morning, Magis. Thanks for watching. All right. There's an interesting question here. I have actually questions prepared, but this one is also interesting. So I will try to answer it since this is live. Sorry for the question. Why do we need another book if we have Microsoft documentation and their support channels? That's a good question, Ophir. I think I'm not the alone writer who decided to write a book. I decided to write a book because even though I also use the Microsoft documentation as reference, but I decided to write a book because of my cloud migration experience, and I thought that would be a good way to document my experience and also help those. And documentation is more structured, but my book is also structured in a way based on how I see it, how I would like to see the categorize the services that I want to learn for each specific category. Because when you are getting started with Azure, it's not easy to choose what service to use for different deployment models like infrastructure as service. no, infrastructure as a service, yes, correct, and then platform as a service, and there's also SaaS, and now we have containers as a service. So if you, for example, if you choose serverless, there are different technologies for that. If you use containers, there are different technologies for that. It really depends on your use case. And I sound like a consultant as usual, but I hope that that helped your uh, question. And I did actually have a prepared question that everyone or a few actually have sent already. And thanks for them. I will actually special mention you. Let me just toggle in between here and look for. So I got a question here. So my first question was, let me maximize. Okay. That's the first question that I got was from Blake, uh, from Barrett Blake. Your book covers a lot of ground. And by the way, I gathered all the questions, but I'm spontaneously answering this without like just on the spot, as you know. So it's not scripted answer. So your book covers a lot of ground, and we all know that changes to Azure are frequent. How are you able to ensure that you cover all the ground to be useful enough without delving it too deeply on each topic, and at the same time keep up with the constant changes that Azure throws? Yeah, that was a question from Blake. Blake, who is Azure Solutions Architect. So to answer this question, yeah, it is correct that my book is really fundamental. So I did, as you know, as I showed earlier, it covers a lot of topics from cloud computing basics to focus on Azure fundamentals and going into each category, for example, compute, networking and security, DevOps, and other tools within Azure. I am trying not to delve into deeper deeper details of each topic, because if I do that, then the book would be more than 1,000 pages. So what I do instead is that I refer the readers back to some recommended learning resources, and where they can look up to. And the purpose of the book is to give them the introduction and important concepts and the services that they need to know for a specific case, and then they can continue learning it by themselves. Because I, as a developer, prefer to learn by doing after I learned the basic or the important concepts that I just need to know. So my book is compact with all of those important concepts, and then those that want to deep dive into each of them, then they can look up into Microsoft documentations and community resources as well. And then when it comes to dealing with constant changes, that is also interesting, because when Microsoft changed the identity and access management platform, Azure AD, to Microsoft Intra ID, I was in the process of like finalizing my book, and then I had to make some editing and changes last minute in order to adapt my book to the constant changes that Microsoft Azure has from time to time, especially every year. So my book is going to be a living document. I mean, the paper book is already printed, or it will be printed. But if there are changes to technologies that I wrote that are very huge, I believe O'Reilly is going to reach out to me for another edition of the book, or if there's a demand for it. Otherwise, from time to time, I will be going through the the book has paper copy and the online version on O'Reilly's platform that I showed earlier, and that will be a living document in a way. When I receive an errata, for example, something I missed or something that should be added on, that will be handled right away on the online version. Okay, I have another. Okay, I see. I'm actually I'm getting comments from the stream on LinkedIn. So let's see. Let me just interrupt the answering of question from Barrett. Thank you. I assume that Gen AI can solve the issue of learning a new platform, getting start with Azure. But thank you for supporting the community. Yes, thank you, Ophir, for watching. Also, it's still early of the day, but I'm glad that you joined live. I know some will be watching this recorded. And let me see. You also added, I have on my table to try AWSQ for that matter. AWS, I know I have some AWS hero friends, but AWS and learning other platforms is something that, the basics at least, is something I want to learn more someday, because multi cloud and a hybrid cloud is also good. My focus specialty is Azure today, but who knows? A multi cloud will be a big thing. But yes, thanks for your comment. So just feel free to add more, drop some questions if there's any. I actually have a few prepared. So that was my answer to Blake. I hope Barrett Blake is satisfied with it. If not, feel free to reach out. But that was a great question. I got another question, which was actually submitted on the forms that I shared beforehand. And another question I got was from Corey Knapp, cloud architect. How do you begin the process of writing your book? Like, for example, outline, research, etc. Very great question. This is probably a question. The Corey's question is a good question because it's like practical question to those that wants to write a book, like me. So so as I shared earlier, I did not plan to write a book until I realized that I had an idea because of my cloud migration experience and some lessons learned there. I really saw the gap, and you can call it that I was very brave enough to get to start it, but I just did it anyway. So the process of writing a book, based on my experience for with this project, learning Microsoft Azure project with O'Reilly, um, it can be different. Is different per publisher, book publishing company to another. So what I will share to answer this question is specific to O'Reilly. So O'Reilly, everyone knows O'Reilly. I have O'Reilly books with me even before I started writing and working in tech. I love how they use their covers, use animal covers to create awareness of endangered animals in a technical book. So, which is like very ironic, right? But the process of writing a book with O'Reilly is that you contact them or reach out, go to their website or reach out to them either by website or if you knew someone. And then you tell them that, hey, I got an idea in writing a book. And usually they will give you someone will reach out to you and ask you, hey, here's a template for writing a book proposal. So that book proposal has like a outline of the things that you want to propose to write for a book, a topic. And O'Reilly has different series or categories of books. And my book, when I shared to them the idea that I had, they suggested your idea suits in our learning series. So that's why the book, it's called Learning Microsoft Azure, because I want to write about Azure, but I want to focus that I'm learning out the fundamentals of this topic. So I chose the title, and when you write a book proposal, it's like a template you need to follow. And in my book proposal, there wasn't any like, hey, you need to do this number of pages of proposal. It was, I think I wrote about 15, 17 pages. And in that book proposal, I gathered all my ideas in a structured way. That includes how many chapters I wanted the book would be. So the printed book or the published ebook or book that you're gonna read, that's actually planned and laid out already, even before I started writing. And then when it comes to that, you get a project, you actually follow what you have proposed initially. I mean, it can be flexible and can be agile, but you try to follow that structure of chapters that I decided as an author. I can twist later in collaboration with O'Reilly. And then research is part of it. So I did some research at the same time, making sure that I'm not writing an outdated. So that's a process. And then in between the writing of first several chapters, I also need to pass it into the project editor. And then they will not edit for me because I'm the writer. What they will do is they will look into what I wrote, and then they will submit it to some tech reviewers who will leave their feedback. So the process is kind of like back and forth until the iteration ends, and then the project is finished. Okay, there's what was that? Oh, I got a I got a comment from Christian. There is a call for contributions that you file via Sessionize. I think that was the wrong comment, I think, but let's see. I'm gonna continue. Next question. Next question is from uh, Adisola, senior systems engineer. How did you get the motivation to write a book on Azure, considering there's a tons of materials out there? Yeah, I think I did mentioned earlier the motivation why I wrote this book, and thank you, Adisola, for your question. One of my motivations in writing this book was my cloud migration journey that uh, became an eye opener to me in a way that IT organizations and others working with cloud development, specifically on Azure, needs to be aware about the fundamentals and important concepts in terms of what services to use for what. So that's my main motivation. And another motivation why I wrote the book is that I believe that the more you write, speak, and teach about a topic, the more you master it. And I want to be better in developing with Azure or teaching it and learning it, because that was the challenge that I saw in one of my IT projects or consulting project before. There was a lack of knowledge and awareness and readiness, and it's not just about moving to any cloud platform. So I'm also answering questions live. This one is like pre-sent, so feel free to share your questions as well live. Let's see. Next question, also from Adesola. He or she did not provide the last name, but I assume that he or she follows me on my platforms. But thank you for like asking interesting questions. Okay, next question from Adesola. Did you ever get discouraged? What advice would you give to anyone looking to write about Azure? Yeah, thanks for the question. Yes, I did actually get discouraged once in the middle of the project. So I did get discouraged once when when I was too busy in I had to toggle back and forth between what I wrote and what I need to edit because of a technical review. So I got very confused, stressed, and I was thinking, what kind of thing did I get into? So I was close to getting discouraged, but I was thinking not to do that, not to give up, because as I was sharing my journey about this book at its early stage, I also noticed that my friends in the community and everyone that are contributing, the technical reviewers, have been also very supportive as I write my journey. So I've been very transparent about that. And that actually inspired me to continue. And O'Reilly team that worked with me closely in the project are very helpful and very considerate and flexible about my busy schedule. So I did not get discouraged. I was close, but I didn't want to end the race without finishing it. So I did it. And next question: what advice would you give to anyone looking to write about Azure? My advice is to of course not just write a book, because writing a book is not just about that. It's a lot of hard work and a lot of time and effort. Think about what what it is that you have to share about the topic of Azure. So if you've been working on something like within Azure and you have something to share about it, you don't have to write a book. You can blog about it, create a video or content about it. But if you're really l- like interested into learning the process of writing, which actually teaches you a lot yourself within you, you can choose a topic that and a good publishing company that will support you as a new writer. I like O'Reilly because they've been supportive as a first time writer. Choose the topic. Check within yourself if you're really ready to devote your time and effort in writing a project, because when you write a book project, there's like a span. It's like a project. You are given maybe 6 months or 1 year to finish the project. And if you have other stuff around that project, you also have to think, are you able to deliver or not? And try to, once you have decided, get support from friends, ask help if needed. And yeah, that's my advice. And if you are thinking of writing a book and need mentorship or uh, ask questions about Azure, feel free to reach out to me or to those that have written a book about the same topic as well. Okay, I have a question live from someone in LinkedIn. I got some watchers on LinkedIn. Hi, everyone. So I'm gonna answer the next question. So I just answered the question of Adisola. We got another question here from Than Nguyen. Did publishing the book contributed to increase your exposure, more context, ROI? Is it worth the amount of time writing it? A good question. Um, Okay, so first, it did actually, even before the book was published, I already have increased my exposure because I am very active in sharing knowledge to the tech communities. So publishing the book did help with that, because I share about this. Uh, I share content in the community. Uh, like about Azure, and then my book is about Azure. It did definitely increase my exposure. So I think for the past year, my original connections on LinkedIn, like 2 years ago, was like only 500, but now I have actually increased my followers to about 11,000. And I think it's not just about the book, but it's about me sharing content and knowledge about what I do for the community. So that helped. More contacts, definitely. The more followers, the more connections, the more contacts, of course, more opportunities. ROI, I'm not really sure because I don't write a book because for business. I wrote a book because I'm passionate to share about it. So, and then is it worth my time writing the book? I would say yes, even though there were like hours of time devoted out of my self time or from my own time. It is worth it because I can see that it's being appreciated by the readers, the beginners that are still starting their journey, and the community is also like supporting me in terms of like sharing and spreading out the word, and you will see it when you read the book. So yes, that was my dog barking. So let me just mute. Okay, so yeah, I asked my dog to stop barking. That's the live one. Okay, I hope that answered your question, Than. Let me just continue with the next one. All right. Okay, the next question, let me just maximize it. Okay, next question. Were there any parts of the writing process or specific topics in the book that you enjoyed covering the most? So these are two questions from Marco Notarigo, a cloud architect. So first question, were there any parts in the process or specific topics in the book that you enjoyed covering the most? I enjoyed covering the topics of first chapter, actually, cloud computing, because I mean, it's not just like hopping into Azure, what Azure is, but it's also learning the different cloud computing concepts and history before it became a super computers on the cloud. So I think I really enjoyed researching and writing about it. And then next one, I really enjoyed writing the compute part chapter. I think it's on chapter 4 when I wrote about like serverless containers, and also the networking part, security, and cloud migration topics that I wrote, which is in chapter 13. And also, I did enjoy writing the last chapter, which led me to write more than 400 pages because the last chapter is about cloud development tools for developers. And I'm a developer, so it's like I listed down all the great tools that developers can learn and make use of. So I didn't deep dive, but I did list it out. Like for example, Azure Developer CLI, which was like a new release then when I was writing the last chapter. So I had to edit and add that one because I thought readers would find value in knowing about that Azure Developer CLI technology that was new. I wrote about GitHub CLI. I wrote about Azure CLI itself and other tools as well. I did write about GitHub Copilot and code spaces in that chapter as well. So I found those new things, and actually all of them. I did enjoy writing all those topics. I learned a lot. Second question from Marco. In your opinion, what are some of the emerging trends in the cloud computing and Azure that readers should be aware of? That's interesting. I think one of the to answer that, one of the trends that I see that would be useful for developers or cloud engineers to know that exists is actually using AI integrated tools like that will help them be productive in what they do. So I did mention some of those tools in chapter 14 of my book. So that includes the Copilot, the code spaces, the ACD, very great tools. So I do believe that developers can enhance the cloud development tools that we have today, specifically on Azure and Microsoft Stack as a .NET developer. There are a lot of great tools that will help us with productivity. For example, the C Sharp dev kit on Visual Studio and other great extensions available integrated with the AI tools and Copilot, for example. So those are like a trend that I actually see. So if you have more idea, feel free to comment or suggest additional ones. Next one, I also from Marco. What are some common challenges that reader might face when learning Azure, and how does the book address these challenges? Great question, Marco. I think some of the common challenges as a new learner or beginner of Azure or any cloud computing or cloud development platforms is, of course, you need to know the basic of programming. That's like given. You need to know the basic of cloud computing. Um, that is being addressed by my book. But the challenge that I see that I think my book will help is finding what is the service that's suitable for what, and how you can migrate stuff to Azure. I mean, not just stuff, but applications on prem or multi-cloud or hybrid cloud. But readers might find challenges like choosing what to use uh, in any certain category. And what I did in my book is I grouped them, aside from cloud computing and the fundamentals of Azure, I kind of grouped them that if you're focusing into DevOps tools or dev tools, this is are the list of things that you have. And then in each of them, I did highlight what it is used for, what are the benefits, and there are some warnings and pros and cons of it as well. And the book addressed a lot of things in different areas. So we will see when I get reviews from others when it comes out and spread out more. It's just recently released. Okay, I think, let's see. My dog is barking. I hope you don't hear it so much. So next one is a question, two questions. I got a lot of questions, and each of the person that submitted the question actually sent more than one, so it's very interesting. So we got a question from John Lewis. He is a Microsoft technical trainer. I look forward to reach out to him. The people that send out their questions, I didn't know them, but I am sure I look forward to connect with them because they got interesting question. So I just literally just grab the question and then answer now on the spot. So, first question that he has is book writing lucrative enough that one could live off book writing exclusively? That's a great question. If you ask other writers, you would get an answer also that the book writing is not like it's not something a career that you would do full time. A book writing, you earn something from it once the book is published, and you earn money from it based on royalties, and royalties depends on how many percent publishing is going to give you as an author. But as you write, you don't actually get a lot of income for that. So I don't think you can earn a living by just writing a book. It really depends. If you like write a series of famous books, if my book gets famous, maybe I will get rich. But it's not something that you can live just alone. So maybe write a lot. But I have a job on the side. So I'm pretty not dependent on the book royalties itself. It's basically not about money. It's more about sharing and making a difference in the community and helping those that are new in their journey. I got a question live from Håkan. Okay, let's pause from answering question from John. And hi, Okan. I'm glad to see you, see you live at least. Would you like to write another book? And if so, what would the topic be? Would you consider to write a non-technical book? Great question, Håkan. I think I got this question also after writing a one. I would consider writing another technical book, maybe not next year, but after I have let the first book sink in, I would consider writing a book about serverless and container services within Azure or within Cloud Native. That would be something I would be interested to write about. And then, would you consider writing non-technical book? Yes, I do. I actually have an idea of writing my self-biography or life story. I'm not sure if O'Reilly has non-technical books, but I would like to write a topic about my life biography, self-biography, and also, I would like to write a topic about mentorship and public speaking and community related. That's the soft part. I hope that answered your question, Hokan. Thank you. And I got I got a hi from Side. Hi Side. Thank you for hosting me on uh Asher Zero to Hero session. It was a great session, sharing with the community. Thank you. And thanks for the contribution of Håkan inside also. Håkan was one of the technical reviewers and expert code providers of the AI and machine learning chapter of my book. So you will read his expert code when you receive or read a copy. Side also helped with some praise quotes you will see in the first few chapters or first pages of the book. No live questions for now. I have, I think, 11 minutes until my time is off, and then I need to go back to work. Okay, so second question from John Lewis. Do you expect that your latest book will create opportunities for you and your company? Uh, Yes, I believe so. I mean, even before it's published, it's been creating like traction all over my channels. I mean, it's not it helps for personal branding. It's just like if you share knowledge naturally, it and the more you give, the more you also receive. I believe in that. And I my book actually create opportunities in a way that Microsoft reached out to Rayleigh and saw my book, and they actually uh, volunteered. I'm not sure how the talk went, but I just got an email a year ago from Rayleigh that, hey Jonah, Microsoft is interested to content sponsor your book. What does it mean? Content sponsor means that they have some kind of marketing agreement, and Microsoft is going to feature my book uh, in one of their learning platforms. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to expose that yet, but it's public that Microsoft is one of the content sponsor, because on the online version of my book, you will see on O'Reilly's website, you will see a circle logo of Microsoft, and it says compliments of Microsoft. So they have been actually involved with reviewing of the book, especially during the change of the Microsoft Intra name change or rebranding. Azure AD to Intra. So they really was involved in checking that illustrations are actually corrected and changed. So I'm glad that my book caught up on that change, and it was published after that rename or rebranding. And opportunities for my company, like I work for Solidify as an Azure consultant, senior consultant, and I think it creates opportunities in a way that I create awareness about my expertise in Azure. And in my consulting project, I also share knowledge about Azure for internal competence development. And I also have my own company, Jonah Andersson, that tech that I work for myself for trainings, Microsoft certifications as an MCT. So, which I had trainings actually this year at Miles, which was a great one, inspiring one, teaching developers. And I think that was the last question. Let me see. Oh, okay. That was the last question, but I won't end it yet. I need one more. 8 minutes. Good timing. I got a question. Let me just take that. I got a comment from side. Your life experiences are a treasure trove waiting to be shared in a book. They hold the power to inspire others. Thank you, Said. I will definitely mention all my community friends if I'm gonna write a book about my life story. So thank you so much. Yes. Let's see. I got one more. Hi everyone. I'm Innocent Udo, a Java software engineer. Hi, Innocent. That's great, interesting name you have. Yes, so I think that's it. All I have. I finished answering. Unless there's more questions, I don't see one coming in on LinkedIn. If you have more last minute questions, feel free to post it. I'm gonna answer it before I say end my session, but otherwise, I want to say thank you to all of you that watch this session live. I hope you learned something about my book. If you're curious or want to read it, or you know someone that might find it useful, feel free to have them reach out to me as well. And I appreciate your time. And I do have an upcoming session this weekend for my user group. Hokan will be there as well, and that will be our last session for my user group. So feel free to check it out on my LinkedIn. But otherwise, thank you so much, everyone, and I am thankful that the Festive Tech Calendar and Cloud family invited me to do an Ask Me Anything live question session, because I've never done an Ask Me Anything. I kind of like spontaneously organized this myself and arranged it, and it went well. So thank you so much for your time. And if you're watching this recorded, thank you as well. Feel free to reach out if you have further questions than what I answered. So I don't have any outro video, but I'll just end it by saying goodbye and thank you so much. Bye bye.